So, slightly further away than last time we recorded together, Nisha, what is your opinion on beards?
I like beards. Beards are cool.
Beards are cool. Some human beings... Oh my god.
Sorry.
Some human beings have beards. This is an undisputed fact. There are some people who will style their moustaches into interesting little hook shapes or grow a beard so long they have to tuck it into their belts. But you may ask yourself, why? Why do we have beards? Well, if the answer to that you're coming up with is, I don't know, then you are just about as clueless as the majority of the scientific community. Yeah, one take!
Well, it's a question I ask myself daily. Why do people have beards?
But I mean, if I was to say to you now, why do humans have beards, what would you say? That's right, you're drawing a blank, which is why this video is going to be so good.
I don't know, Brad.
The joy of Fact Feed is that we can talk about whatever the fuck we want. And I actually found this because I was looking through the Ig Nobel prizes. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? I don't know why my brain was like, you've said that wrong.
Yeah.
The Ig Nobel prizes. I was looking through a list of those, and I found one specifically about something to do with beards. And it made me look further into it as to the reason why humans actually have beards. And we'll talk more about the Ig Nobel prizes later on, because some of them are hilarious. If there's anybody out there who doesn't know what a beard is, do not worry. I've got you covered. A beard is...
pointing to yourself.
A beard, I just pointed at my own face. A beard is a formation. I don't know why I'm doing this bit. I don't know why I'm putting a bit about what the beard. We all know what a beard is. Brad, why?
This is why your articles are 3 pages long.
Yeah, my articles keep ending up being like 2 or 3 pages of just like note after note, and we all know what a beard is. I have one. The reason people might have a beard, like you might like the look of it. It might be a popular thing at the time. There are religious or cultural reasons. And also, maybe you're just lazy. But beards exist. We know what they are. Jesus,
get on with it.
This isn't going great.
Fucking get on with it, Brad.
You wouldn't think I'd not had a drop to drink, would you? This is what Carl's videos end up like when he starts knocking shots back. Oh, right, okay. Beards. Anyway, to carry on this mess. The reason why it's so perplexing to us about humans having beards is because we don't really understand why. Like, why have humans developed this random bit of hair on their face? Because all the other hair that we have on the body, for the most part, serves some kind of purpose. Like, the general hair that we have that grows everywhere is good for things like regulating body temperature. Then we have hair on the top of our heads, which can protect us from the sun or, if it's cold, from the cold. The hair that we get under our arms and in the pubic region, that kind of hair is good for reducing friction when we're moving, as well as preventing like certain types of bacteria and pathogens and things from getting into some of the more prone areas for that kind of thing to prosper.
Mm-hmm.
But why beards? Why facial hair?
Well, maybe after what you've just said, people have beards, to stop friction and sunburn on their face.
See, it's a fair point. The thing is, right, only half of us have them. And this is why beards are an unusual feature, because people have hair in various amounts, but we all have hair in certain places. But it's only prepubescent and adult males that have facial hair for the most part. So this begs the question, why? Why do some of us have beards and some of us not? Well, if you look at nature, if you look at all of the different species of creature in the world, there are some creatures where there are differences between the males and females. And Darwin?
Darwin?
I don't know why you know what, right? Everyone, this is like the 50th take. I'm going to carry on. Fuck it. This is the video you're getting. Right. Darwin proposed a theory that was called sexual selection. And the idea is that not only are evolutionary advantages passed on through creatures, but also ones that are deemed desirable. So certain features that creatures might have may not be useful in terms of survival, but they are useful in terms of getting a mate to choose them. And this is one of the proposed reasons why males have beards, is because women find beards attractive.
Oh.
Been trying to say that for so long. Oh my god. Yeah, that's one of the leading theories, is the idea that the reason why, in modern society, the reason why human males grow beards is because throughout history, beards have been seen as being a sign of things like maturity. You know, if someone's got a beard, then they've reached maturity.
Yeah.
And also, because the beard can make the jaw seem wider and thicker, it gives off a more dominant jawline, which is believed to be another feature which a mate would look for when looking for somebody to, create offspring with.
I hate it. It's disgusting.
Well, I love it. It's distinguished.
Yeah, because I can comment on the fact that I like full beards. Like, I think it frames the face really nice, and yeah, it just like ties the face together.
Well, I've worn a beard for a while now. It sounds strange to say worn a beard, but I've had a beard for quite a long time now. There was a period where I was working in a fast food place where they wouldn't let me have one, but I initially grew one because apparently the average age where people start growing a beard is 21, which for me felt late because I just assumed that it was a puberty thing, but apparently it's a little later than that when people start growing beards. When I think about it, I grew my beard when I was 20, so early bloomer.
Yeah, I remember like when I was younger, like say 17, 18 or whatever, I didn't like facial hair on guys. And then obviously that's flipped completely. Like, no, I like facial hair on guys.
Well, there's a lot of evidence as well to suggest that this theory isn't true. Like, particularly in the modern day, there's this idea that floats around that people are more attracted to things that are more unique. So if you're in a community where nobody has a beard, if one guy has a beard, he's the fit one. And then if you're in a community where everybody's got a beard, that clean-shaven one, he's the fit one. So that's like the that's this idea that floats around, which sort of goes against this theory, because I think it's more related to like really far in the past, like when humans were first becoming humans, like during the early days. The idea that you could visually see how far along a particular specimen was to then decide to mate with that one, I guess, is understandable. And it's the same with other creatures. Like you see, I'm trying to think of a specific example off the top of my head, but a lot of nature, there are features that a female will look for in a male, because in most like scenarios in nature, it's the female who chooses.
Yeah.
Because the female's the one who has the, they're the ones with the eggs, they're the ones who are going to look after the offspring. They're like, I need to look for somebody who is perfect for me. And back in the day, I guess it was like, ooh, Beardy McGee, get over here.
That's the one.
I'm badass.
Yeah, I was tired of you looking like a bitch.
There's also the idea that these same features that would be considered attractive to a prospective mate are also considered to be threatening or a show of dominance from one male to another. So if a male has a bushier beard and a wider jaw, they're meant to look...
Great big bushy beard.
A great big bushy beard. They're meant to look more dominant and more threatening.
Only had one thing you haven't got. What's that, sir?
A great big bushy beard.
So there are legs to this idea, and it is probably the most likely one of the ones we're about to discuss, but it's also not confirmed. Like, you can't really prove this. But I mean, just as an example, how about what we do is we present two images of two different people, and you can tell me which one you think is the most attractive. So on this side here, on your left, here's a picture of a man with a beard. As you can see, he's a very attractive man. And then on this side, you can see a picture of a man without a beard, and you can be the judge of which one of these is more attractive. For Nisha watching at home, the picture on the left is going to be a picture of me that looks really good. And on the right is going to be that picture of Carl that I took in court. Which of these is better? Decide now. The thing is, I don't know if Carl watches these videos he's not in, so he's going to have to let us know. Like, if he's watched this, let me know.
I hope he does.
Yeah, he watched it.
Just for this moment.
Just in case. Like, are they going to talk about me? Yes, Carl. Yes, we are. So we briefly touched upon earlier the idea that there may be evolutionary advantages, like survival advantages, to having a beard. Like Nisha hinted at earlier, having a beard will keep you warm, or I guess keep the sun off your skin as well in the summer. And it can protect you from, bacteria, shit that goes into your mouth. It has the same sort of purpose as all the hair on the body, but
It can save food for later if you drop it in the beard.
I've never understood that. Maybe it's because I've never had a bigger beard, but I can't understand how somebody would drop food into their beard and then be like, "Oh, I'll just leave that." Like, I know it's probably a joke, but that to me is fucking revolting. Like, if I look in the mirror and I've got some food on my face, I feel fucking ashamed.
It is a joke. I don't think people actually do that.
It had to come from somewhere.
It was a joke.
There's been a theory put around that the existence of the beard might also help with physical altercations. In 2020, there was a study published in the Journal of Integrative Organismal Biology. Nailed it.
Yay.
Where some biologists tried to figure out whether or not a beard makes a difference when you are punched in the face. And the idea behind this is because males are the ones with the beards, and the males will compete for the affection of the females. Is there a beard so that getting punched doesn't hurt as much? Like, one of the primary places that people will punch each other is the face, and the jaw is one of the most commonly broken bones. So in order to test this, they made a fake jawbone and they wrapped it with sheepskin that either had wool or didn't have wool, and then they just hit them. And the test was like whether or not the damage that was inflicted when having the beard, the fur, the hair, the whatever, wool, that's the one. Whether having that on the outside, I don't know if they used wool. They may have put some. Not important. No.
But beards aren't that thick.
No, but
unless they're really long.
No, but there is still an element of padding there. This wouldn't be unique to humans if it was true, because animals like lions and elks and things, they have manes or larger fur around the necks to prevent other animals from being able to attack them as easily round the throat. So the idea was that maybe humans were the same. Maybe sometime in the distant past, when we had to fight each other, having bigger, bushier beards meant that you would be less likely to get scratched in the throat or have your jaw broken.
But also, if you've got a long beard, couldn't the other person just grab it and like throw you around?
So this is the point I was going to get onto. Other people have said this is fucking stupid because if you've got a massive beard, then someone's just going to grab the beard and start decking you in the face.
It's like when you have people talking about women fighting, they just grab each other's hair.
Yeah.
Like grab the hair extensions or whatever. Just imagine it the same with the beard.
We did a video last week about John Wick, and when I was watching a lot of the fight scenes in John Wick, I was thinking to myself, one of the world's greatest assassins, you'd think he'd have his hair tied back.
Yeah.
Because there's scenes where like his sort of sweaty hair is hanging in front of his eyes, and I know it's a film. But I was still watching it thinking, that's going to go in his eye at some point, and an integral part of this fight scene. He's going to miss a shot because his hair goes in his eyes, and then someone's going to shoot him in the face. When I was a teenager, I used to have really long hair that went like down my back. And I never used to tie it back because I used to think it was cool when you'd be in like a moment where you were, play football or something and you're all sweaty and you toss your hair to the side. And I just like, in my head, it was like the commercials of like L'Oreal, or when you see like male models or whatever with long hair introduced in films and they're tossing their hair aside and like looking sexy. In my mind, like that's what I look like, but I probably just look like a scruffy moron who had his hair in his face.
Yeah, it's definitely like the expectation versus reality memes.
But back to this study, they did prove that the amount of energy that is impacted on the jaw is reduced by up to 37% by having a beard.
Oh.
So it is true that having a beard does reduce the amount of impact from a punch. Like, it seems obvious when you think about it. This has been a mess of a video, and I'm very sorry. Like, the thing is, we're recording this quite late until I need to edit this and put it up tomorrow. I'm all over the place, and if this is people's first video, like, this is what they're all like. Carl's better than me. I'm getting used to it. But just, I at the end of these, I like to conclude. So I think drawing everything together is a good way of summarizing the mess I've just made. So we started off questioning, like, why? Why do we have beards? And like Darwin, as we've said, pictured here with his really nice big beard. Darwin thinks that people who have beards are more attractive. Wonder why.
Does he? What does he know?
I mean, I've got to agree. Darwin, he's a smart man. Darwin knows what he's talking about.
I think everyone with beards is going to agree with Darwin.
It's nothing. I just think that he clearly knows what he's talking about. All people in the world find men with beards more attractive. That's just the way that things are. It's just the way that the world is. But no, there's been a lot of like people on the other side of the argument say, well, we don't think this is entirely true. Like the idea that beards solely exist to be more attractive could just be disproven by asking people if they like beards. And a lot of people say yes and no. Like I know that it's probably not fair with you to bring up Jensen, but you've said that you like Jensen with and without a beard.
Yes.
Jensen Ackles, if people are wondering.
Yes. With and without a beard.
Nisha's big crush.
Yep.
Jensen, if you're watching, get in her DMs. But
if you're watching, I'm sure he is.
You never know. Like I always do think, because some of the videos on Fat Fiend have been viewed by over 1 million people, and these are actors and famous people. They're just human. Like there's a chance that one of the people watching right now is a famous movie star or actor. Like you just don't know. Tom Cruise could watch. Nick Cage could watch him.
They just want to know about beards.
Yeah. Where was I? Yes, beards. We also learned about beards, like potentially their reason for existing for survival. You know, they keep your face warm, but they also might stop you from getting punched really hard. But I would say that if they can grab the beard and then punch you in the face, it's probably like balanced itself out. So yeah, to conclude, we actually don't know. Scientists do not know 100% why human beings have developed a particular patch of hair here.
So we entered this video not knowing the reason, and we leave this video not knowing the reason.
Yes, but you did learn a lot along the way.
Yes, but
science, a lot of science is about disproving things as much as it is proving things.
Yeah.
And this is something that I think is fascinating about the field of science, is that there's an idea in science that there's no such thing as a failed experiment. Because even if something goes wrong, you still learn something about that. So if you're trying to test something and it doesn't work, then you know that that thing doesn't work. Like you've proven a point, even if the point isn't what you wanted to get. So in videos like this, like we don't know. We don't know exactly why humans have a beard, but what we've gone through is some of the reasons why they could have a beard. And I get the feeling that we will never know. I don't think we're ever going to really know why, because it involves like the psychology of ancient people. And unless some caveman drew like a cave painting of somebody with a beard and a big tick next to it, and then somebody without a beard and a big cross, then we're not really going to have any idea that there's like... And that might just be the preference of one person. We don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm going to conclude this video by saying that clearly anyone with a beard is just better in every way. You're not going to say anything to that?
No, I'm just in my mind, I'm envisioning like you zooming in on your face to end.
No, I've been getting a lot of comments since I started hosting videos. I've been getting a fair few comments about, people, dickheads, who decide to make a comment on my weight. You know what I want? Fill that comment section with comments about how beautiful my beard is. I actually did tidy it up today.
I was going to say, did you tidy it beforehand?
I did. Specifically for beard video. So, yeah. Get in those comments. So if you fill the comments now with insults, I'm coming after everyone here. So I briefly mentioned that this discussion was brought on by looking through the list of Ig Nobel Prize winners. This study that I referenced about whether or not punching people with beards is better than punching people without beards, this won an Ig Nobel Prize. And so I sent the Ig Nobel Prize list to Nisha, and I said to her, like, you pick out a few you think are quite funny. So I've got one in mind that I thought was hilarious. It's one of the recent ones. But I'm going to go out to you first. Did you find one that you thought was particularly interesting?
Well, seeing as there was a lot, I thought, why not go to the year that I was born and see if there was an interesting thing that happened that year, so 1992.
Before we go into this, by the way, the Ig Nobel Prize, I was going to explain what it is. It's where they give out, it's like a parody of the Nobel Prize. The Ig Nobel Prize is that they give prizes out to people who have done like funny or weird or bizarre research that is either pointless, very niche or specific.
Not me.
Very niche or specific, or is just something that is comical in nature. So if you will continue.
I looked at the year 1992 when I was born to see if there's anything interesting that happened that year. And the first thing that I see is, for biology, Dr. Cecil Jacobson, a relentlessly generous sperm donor and prolific patriarch of sperm banking, for devising a simple, single-handed method of quality control. First one I read.
Did you look any deeper into this? Because I'm currently just picturing a guy with his hands covered in cum.
I didn't know. I just
Sorry,
carried on down the
hands
list.
covered in cum, single-handed.
No, I just looked for more, suggestions and.
It must be that he developed some kind of test to measure whether or not a sperm sample is viable. Did it say one-handed or single-handed? Like, what was the wording?
Single-handed.
So
Single-handed.
single-handedly implies that he did it on his own, not that he used one hand.
Well, that's not how I read it. So
I'm guessing that on his own he developed a way to test the efficacy of sperm. That's where I'm going with this.
they knew what they were doing when they wrote that.
Oh, they knew exactly what they were doing. Oh god, the one that I remember, just I'm glancing through the list. I think it was 2022, but you can double check this for me because I don't remember the exact names. But somebody built a crash test dummy in the shape of a moose.
Safety Engineering, Magnus Jens for developing a moose crash test dummy.
So initially, this may seem like really stupid. Like, why would you want a moose crash test dummy? But the reason for this isn't to sit it in the car in the driver's seat and see whether or not the airbags work. I'm guessing it's to test the impact of vehicles against moose that have wandered onto the road.
Yeah.
So that would, because when you hear crash test dummy, you think it's going to be in the car, don't you? Just this idea of like
just driving.
Bullwinkle on the fucking driver's seat. But no, I think the idea was that it was meant to test whether vehicles can survive impacts, and I guess whether the human crash test dummies will take more damage from being whacked by a moose. So, but that was funny. Have you got any more?
So in 2006, ornithology, a couple of people explored and explained why woodpeckers don't get headaches. I just saw that. I was like, how fucking random is that? Like,
how?
I don't know. I didn't look into these things.
Like electrodes to the brain and measure whether or not they're in pain? Does that mean they have to wait? Does that mean they have to induce headaches in woodpeckers?
I guess I don't know. Yeah, I think obviously I've not looked into any of these. I've just quickly looked down the list and
no, I think it's funnier not to, like without context. There is one. I think it was from 2016. Just double check this for me. And it's called. It's like in the reproduction category. Do you see it?
2016. Oh right, yeah, okay.
Yep. Okay, read that one out.
The late Ahmed Shafiq for testing the effects of wearing polyester cotton wool trousers on the sex life of rats, and for then conducting similar tests on the human male.
So there's a chance I might make a video about this at some point because it sounds utterly ridiculous. But a scientist wanted to test whether certain types of trousers make rats hornier, and then transfer this research to people.
That's weird.
The Ig Nobel Prize list is just fascinating.
It's weird.
It genuinely is. When I was reading through it, and like obviously this one was on there, like they're testing whether or not being punched in the face with a beard hurts less. Mm-hmm. And I just looked through some of the other results, and occasionally you just have to stop and go, why? Like, why invest time into researching that? There was one I wrote down because it was genuinely, I couldn't see. Oh, that was it. Some scientists spent ages figuring out the best way to turn a doorknob.
What?
And they got like series of people in and had them turn all these different sized doorknobs and measured it. And this is like supposed to be important research for developing products because of how like to design different doorknobs. Design different doorknobs to turn. But when you hear about it, like why?
So there was one that I read, which I thought, well, I've experienced this, but I can't remember why I experienced this. But it's Acoustics in 2012. A couple of guys, I cannot pronounce the names, created a speech jammer. It's a machine that disrupts a person's speech by making them hear their own spoken words at a slight delay. And I remember doing that because I can't remember what we were doing. But it's so off-putting. And it just fucks with your brain.
I think I first saw this in a Markiplier video because he was playing a game whilst using the speech jammer. And yeah, what it does is it records your voice and it'll play it back into your ears, but at like 0.2 milliseconds delay. And your brain struggles to process hearing your own voice later than you're saying it.
Yep.
And what it does is it makes you talk like that because you can't get your words out. Yeah. So it just makes you sound like Brad presenting a video, basically. we've been recording for quite a while. Let's wrap this up. We normally end these with a little plug for something, so I guess we'll do one each. I'm going to plug my gaming channel because I don't think it gets enough love.
Ooh.
And there's tons of video playthroughs and stuff on that. It's quite chill playthroughs, you know, just me playing a game. God, I'm selling it so well.
Cool. That's a great plug.
What about you? Would you like to plug anything?
Well, I'd probably just mention the Patreon on the side channel. On the side channel, we'll do a variety of different series. We've got like Photoshop challenges. We do Calling All Commenters, Break Brad. There's just so many series that I forget them all because we have that many different types. We started doing Don't Laugh challenges as well. And if you join Patreon, you can get involved with the stuff that we put out. You can like influence the stuff that we do. And it just supports us as well because we are funded entirely on Patreon now. So yeah, if you want to support us and enjoy what we do.
I was trying to act out what you were saying as you were talking. I wasn't doing it very well.
Yeah, I thought you'd be doing something. You're always doing something when I'm talking.
What's that supposed to mean?
Because like whenever I try and talk or I go on a ramble or something, you are like doing something weird in the background that I can't see. You probably do something now. It's because you go like quiet and suspiciously quiet.
Thanks for watching. We hope you